Hey guys, this is your eternal friend, the ultra healthy video game nerd. I'm back for more. Over the last couple months, I've come to the realization that the PlayStation 1, at least in Japan, has a ton of great obscure 2D games. And I've decided finally that I think the PlayStation 1 has the most 2D hidden gems of any system. Yes, even more than the NES and the SNES. That's going by today's standards, right? So now that we have YouTube, retro gaming has kind of become a phenomenon. A lot of people know about the games that we once would have considered hidden gems. You know, like on NES, I don't know, Logi Man, Isolated Warrior, that kind of stuff. The information is out there now. But the PlayStation 1 still has a lot of obscure hidden 2D games that are great, that are super underappreciated, that not a lot of people know about yet. So I want to spend 2 or 3 episodes and introduce some of these games to you and try to shed some light on them. And thus, we have today's entry. It's Coro Coro Post Nin. Quite a mouthful, huh? Take a look at it. It's beautiful. Coro Coro Post Nin was released in 2002 by Media Entertainment. Now, considering that the PlayStation 2 had been available since 2000, that's a really late PlayStation 1 release. The game could be called an action puzzler, basically. The goal is to make a cute little girl named Mirai Akane deliver newspapers to the mailboxes of her subscribers, and then find the exit door before time runs out. The catch to this game is, you don't control your character. The only control you have over the game is being able to rotate the screen clockwise or counterclockwise as you see fit. Once you rotate the screen and the ground Akane is standing on becomes slanted, she'll start walking downhill. And if you make the slope even steeper, she'll dash. This is how you guide your character around the levels. It's reminiscent of those old toys where you guide a ball through a maze by tilting it. But in this case, it's only 2 dimensions. Don't worry, that's plenty. In addition to delivering newspapers, you'll also collect point items, which come in the form of coins or the manekinekos, the Japanese cat of fortune. When you beat a level, you'll also get points for how much time you have left, and a total score of over 50,000 for the level will get you 1 up. You might need that. The game starts out simple enough, with no obstacles other than the time limit itself. But soon, you'll come across a variety of impediments, such as killer vending machines, ooh, spikes, floors that make you run too slow or too fast, levels with distorted gravity, and crazy floating atoms that kill you with 1 hit. Those are the worst. I said they kill you, but actually in this game, the enemies don't cause you damage. They take time off of your clock, but you need that time. Regular enemies take off 3 seconds, while the damn spikes take off 5. And it's easy to get hit twice in a row due to the very short time of invincibility you have after getting hit. Thankfully, you can easily take out those pesky vending machines and other enemies as long as you're dashing. The game has 10 stages with 4 levels in each stage, and the last one usually introduces some new gameplay gimmick or special challenge. There's also a story that accompanies the game to give it some extra volume. As it turns out, Akane is delivering newspapers in place of her father, her robot father, who's got a bad hip and can't go to work. As the story progresses, you find out that there's a dark, secret group conspiring to wipe out the medium of newspapers altogether because it's hindering the technological progress of humanity. I don't want to give any more away because I'm sure that after watching this video, you're all going to go out, learn fluent Japanese, play this game from start to finish, and be absolutely moved to tears with the story. To be honest, the story is nothing to write home about. But, damn, is this game fun to play. The trick to it is, if you rotate the screen too far, you can make the character float in the air, and that's fine, but she moves much faster when she's either walking or running on the ground. So you're constantly trying to rotate the screen in such a way that the character will move as fast as possible without going too far and sending her into the air. You want to keep your time in the air as little as possible. There are also just enough environmental hazards to keep the gameplay varied. And the best thing about it? No polygons! Not one! I'm kidding. You know, even if the graphics were polygonal, it would still be just as fun to play. But it has that sort of mid-90s, we can still do 2D, but we kind of don't really know what we're doing with it anymore look that an obscure 2D game on the PlayStation 1 can convey perfectly. It's kind of cutesy, kind of serious, and then they just throw in something that makes no sense. The only downfalls to the game are that it's not particularly difficult, and the levels themselves never really get longer. Some levels are a bit longer and they have time items that will extend your time, but every level starts out with the same time limit of 90 seconds. This would be good for some people who don't want to have to go through a huge maze or labyrinth, but I would have liked to see the levels get progressively a bit longer throughout the game. This game is screaming for a sequel. It's such a good idea, and it's just like the first step to the idea. It could have been fleshed out a lot more. However, Media Entertainment is long gone. They don't exist anymore, so I'm not going to hold my breath. To be honest, one really interesting thing to me about Media Entertainment is that they were started by none other than Shinobu Ogawa, who just happens to be the person who wrote the music for the first Valis game. Couldn't make that up. That's pretty deep. So that's all for today, guys. Thanks for watching. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button if you liked what you saw. I'm gonna deliver a lot more retro gaming content. And as always, if you just had a hardcore gaming session, make sure you get to the gym and get a hardcore workout afterwards. Alright guys, that's all. I'm out.